Yo, what is good? We are back with another video, guys. Right now it is late night. Late night. I had a long day, but right now I'm just chilling at the table. Got the creative juices flowing, and I'm about to crank out a bunch of videos tonight. So who knows? I'm gonna see how many I can get through. But right now I'm about to crank out a bunch of these videos. And the first topic that I want to delve into today is my personal digital minimalism journey. Okay. So it's been a long process for me, guys, and I just want to walk you step by step as to where I came from, how did I get to where I am now, and what did that look like, and why did I do it. So, okay, I'm going to start off with my personal experience with social media, right? And I'll just tell you guys, I had a humbling experience with my parents when I was younger, and I got my phone snatched, right? This is back when Instagram first came out. Everybody was posting willy nilly whatever they wanted to post, and I was just following a bunch of people, and I had a bunch of just crazy stuff on my TL, a bunch of like drugs, girls. But I was just young and right, I wasn't really thinking too much of it. And then, long story short, I just want to say I got my phone snatched. And the reason that I bring that up is because ever since then, I got it snatched, and then my parents are coming at me for it. My family was coming at me for it. And, in hindsight, I understand why they reacted that way, but in the moment, I felt really bad about it, and I just didn't want to get back on social media because I felt just, attacked, right? But yeah, you guys probably can assume I grew up in the digital age, so I was used to it, the Instagrams, the YouTubes. It felt like an escape, and I loved YouTube. I still love YouTube, but I would say, and I'm gonna be 25 this year, so if you're in that age range, you know that around late middle school, I would say like 2014 to like 15, 16, that's when I feel like the pressure of social media started to begin. It's nowhere near where it is now, but I feel like that's where it started to ramp up in terms of being popular and having a quote unquote good post and a good profile. And it was almost like a little bit of a class system started to be enveloped, right? And to be honest, that time in my life, TBH, I just didn't feel good enough. I didn't have the self esteem. And honestly, I badly wanted to have cool photos and fit in. And it just seemed like everybody else knew what they were doing, and everybody else just seemed so good at projecting their life. And I just felt like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do that? My life isn't good enough. I want to do things to make my life better so I can post it, right? I feel like we've all been in this cycle. That's when I feel like that's when it really started for me, right? And TBH, guys, this is an area in my life that, in hindsight, really affected my mental health. Constantly comparing myself, and I wanted to show my face because I felt like it wasn't as good as other people's, or it just wasn't, my self esteem wasn't there. And also, I was wearing glasses at this point. And again, nothing wrong with glasses, but it just, I also had glasses, I had acne, good days, right? But I just wasn't confident enough to put myself out there. And I was just go online, I would see all these top athletes at different schools, girls I couldn't get, and basically just felt like something was wrong with me. And so, long story short, that's where my want slash need of wanting to have a good online presence really grew. And I'll get into this later, but that's where my almost online avatar, if you will, or my online performance became an indicator of how I viewed myself as a person, which is always dangerous. Oh man, I just wanted to take a second and say how glad I am that I'm making this video and just doing this channel in general. Going back through just these phases of my life and thinking about it, I just think back to, man, when I had no confidence, and like I said, guys, I wouldn't even show my face. I would be so afraid to put my face online or just do anything related to putting myself out there. And I'm not showing my face in this video, not because I'm not comfortable with it. This is more like my fancy YouTube channel. I'm going to make a bunch of other YouTube channels where I'm like doing vlogs and stuff like that. I have no problem showing my face now, but it is just cool to think about the progression of where I was back then to where I'm at right now. And honestly, I would say a lot of the fact that I'm so comfortable with showing my face and just being out there and being myself is because I eventually remove myself from a lot of social media, which we'll talk about later in the video. But I just wanted to pause and say how great it is to be on YouTube and talking to you guys. And I would say I'm ranting too much, but this is my channel, so F it, I'm gonna do what I want. But all right, back to the timeline, right? But yeah, into high school, it was more of the same. I just wasn't able to muster up really any courage to put myself out there, which was a self-esteem thing. But Also, I didn't understand the nature of these platforms and how they're actually built to keep you addicted, anxious, always scrolling, and yet ever consuming. And it wasn't really near till the tail end of high school when TBH, I started glowing up a little, and my esteem went up, and also I began posting more. Not saying it's good that I was doing that, but just saying that it happened. And TBH, I was still feeding into the vicious cycle of social media. But now that I look back, I just think about how I almost got robbed of looking back on those years with fondness that I do now, because in the moment I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I needed to put myself out more and be more and have some type of online persona. But now that I look back on my high school years, I'm thankful because I realized the friendships that I actually did have and that I can appreciate now were the in person connections, moments, and memories that I made that will stick with me for the rest of my life. Okay, so getting into college, this is like an out of the frying pan into the fryer kind of moment for me because everything that I had mentioned in high school was just magnified. So I was just like a little fish in a big pond. So it was more comparisons, more crazy athletes, football stars, basketball stars, girls, popular older dudes, like straight up real adults. And yes, social media was still there. You guys know I went to college in about 2019. So again, social media was still blowing up, and it just felt like there was more pressure on it, more social status attached to it. And just to be completely honest, guys, it just felt like there was no room for someone like me. I went to a smaller high school, so I didn't have the big established followings. You know how it was on Instagram, guys. Like, oh, if you don't have certain amount of followers or a certain amount of likes, and it's just like, what are you doing, especially at that time? And that really got to me, guys. It just felt like there was something wrong with me. And honestly, I used to spend a lot of time brainstorming ways of how to make my social media better and what I could do and what I could do in my different highlights. You guys, everybody used to do a different highlights to like represent different trips or hobbies they do. I think, okay, what's a good hobby I can do for my highlights? Just ridiculous stuff, guys. So, but this is what I used to do because it just felt so important. It was like, almost like a resume of some sorts. And again, okay, I lost myself. Yeah, again, I didn't fully appreciate the fact in the moment that I had friends in real life. I had connections in real life. And obviously, in hindsight, I can go back and look at this, which I'm so grateful for. But in the moment, I was so concerned with my image and trying to put on a front to compete with other people who looked like they were having a great time. And I'll get into this later. Is just, I realized it wasn't until later that I realized that the people who were putting the most effort into looking a certain way online really weren't experiencing the same things that I was experiencing. Like, maybe they didn't have as many actual real life connections, so that's why they were always on social media. But in my head, it felt the exact opposite. Like, I barely had any friends, I barely had anything going on, and I needed to catch up to other people. So again, it just created this feeling of me thinking that I was left out and lost out, and that these quote unquote cooler people, which is funny, is I bring up college because near the end of my college, I would say that's when I became the most whatever. I don't really say whatever. What I'm trying to say is that's when I was the most quote unquote popular, in the sense that I would rub shoulders with people who were whatever, these social media people who I would look up to, right? And the only reason that I bring that up is just the fact that once I started to meet these people in real life, I just realized that it was not the same persona that they were putting up. And I was just like, wait, what? It confused me, but I also realized that, oh, this is just an act. But yeah, guys, the title of this video is my digital minimalism journey. So I want to skip ahead to a moment. This actually was in college around my sophomore year, where I actually lost my phone. And there's a lot of stories about this on Reddit where people lose their phone for an extended period of time and then they realize what life without technology is like. So a similar experience did happen to me. I don't remember where I was and how it happened, but I lost my phone. It was gone for about a week and a half. And TBH, at this point, I do remember just not being that mad. Like I said, I had always been conscious of my own stigmas around technology and the fact that I wish it wasn't the way it was, and I felt like I wasn't good enough. So when I lost my phone, it felt like a great excuse to not worry about it anymore. And honestly, I just enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. Even just the small stuff of not being able to just plug in something into Waze or Google Maps, or not always being available to people, right? So not always being at the drop of the dime, someone could text me, or not having the expectation to take a picture of something, or not having the expectation to post it, and just being able to not have to be attached to it. Like I didn't have to worry about bringing my phone with me. And again, I obviously, I got another phone, right? But this is just the first time that I was exposed to that lifestyle. And then ever since then, I feel like that's where I really just started getting into more digital minimalism, looking at YouTube videos. And that's when I started going down the YouTube rabbit hole of realizing that I wasn't the only person who felt this way. And I believe this is also when that community started popping up. And yeah, guys, it was just a big eye opening moment for me. And ever since then, I've been slowly but surely more conscious of it and examining how it's been active in my life. And yeah, so over the next couple years, I started downloading apps like Opal to track my screen time, just trying to take intentional phone breaks, like turning it all the way off, putting it in a drawer to just go do something, like take a walk without it, take a shit without it, go to the store without it. I know, scandalous, which all these sound so basic, but you'd be surprised how many people don't or just can't do it. And also, I've just seen so many benefits in my own mental health and just with common courtesy and politeness. Like when I'm sitting down with someone at a restaurant or for a date, my first instinct isn't to have my phone and be checking it every 2 seconds, or if I'm going to an interview, or if I'm in a just room with people, it's like I'll just put my phone down and I'll like have my head up. You'd be surprised how many people just don't have their literal head up, guys. And I'll be honest, one thing I've noticed is with the generations come after me, that's like every year, like people who were born younger than me, I just feel like they have less of an ability to be attached to their phone. Or I'll be in a conversation with somebody a couple of years younger than me, and they just will talk to me for like 10 seconds and look at their phone, look at me. And I get it, but it just gets to a point where it's like you notice it. You really, really do notice it. And I'm just concerned for what that means for people. Also, I've had an on and off love hate relationship with Instagram where I'll quit it for extended periods of time with no guilt. And I'll be honest, guys, it's a two-way, a double-edged sword, because a lot of times I quit it and I enjoy it. I just feel less of the comparison trap. And I think these bursts of quitting it over the years have helped me a lot to become less attached from it. And I've known myself more. So, like I said earlier in the video, I would have to like brainstorm storm a hobby to be like, oh, what would be look good for my highlights. I've thankfully can say that I've broken past that now. I just spent more time with myself, and I know what I genuinely want to do. And now it's just the point of just, do I want to share that or not? And for me, most of the time, it ends up being a no, because I realize that, like I said, that avatar that you guys create, and that's one of the biggest points that I want to hit is once you're able to step away from social media, you're not stepping away from social media, you're stepping away from the need to produce for an online version of yourself, for a curated, perfected version of yourself. And again, I know there's ways to use the internet where it's not like that, but that's the thing with digital minimalism. And I also read the book by Cal Newport. I think it was about a year ago or 2 years ago. Highly recommend it. It's not that the person is flawed in using it, it's that the way these apps are designed, it's like a game machine, it's like a slot machine. You can even watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix. It's designed to keep you in that loop of comparison. Like that's the way the app is designed. It's not like the old Instagram that we grew up with, or the old apps that we grew up with, where it was just pure organic content. No, now there's a money and there's agenda involved. So it was very, very important to me, and I feel like it's something that's benefited me greatly, just to be able to learn to take a step away from it. So that's a little bit of my journey, guys. And I feel like it'll be a constant thing for people our age as we shift more into the digital age and as the online world becomes so intertwined with the real world, it'll be difficult to, bridge the gap and realize, how much time are you spending in the real world versus online. Checking your phone screen usage as well is a huge thing that is just important, guys. Like, when I live my life and I look back on my life, I don't want to have spent hours and hours just scrolling on a screen. I think that's just so important to me. And I think it's just something that a lot of people don't realize until it's too late. Like, a lot of these companies, guys, they just want your attention to sell you more stuff, and they don't really care what happens to you. They don't care about your health, your mental health, what it does to your family, your relationships. And to be honest, yeah, guys, I do feel like an old soul a lot of the times. I do wish I could just sometimes go back to a life where there were no phones, where, and I'll be honest, guys, even when I sit down with family and friends, it does pain me. It does hurt me to be like, damn, we can't just sit in a room and talk for a minute. We can't catch up. Our socializing is just sitting in front of a TV screen, looking at our screen, showing another screen, and it's just like, dude, I just miss. Honestly, it would be nice to just be like, go back to olden days where I guess I'm just an old soul, man. We can just chill and play cards and hang out on the porch or something. And I think we can get back to that. I think that is possible. I think you just need to be more intentional with it. And a quick note that I want to say is, guys, I went to a Dave Chappelle concert a couple years back with my dad, and I think it was just so crazy because if you don't know, at his concert, you're not allowed to bring your phone in unsealed. So they make you seal your phone in a locked up pouch because sometimes he says jokes that aren't public yet or he doesn't want people taking a video of. But long story short, I was in this huge arena type venue and no one had their phone. And I just felt like I was in a time capsule, dude, because everybody was looking up. And even me, I felt the urge to look at my phone. I couldn't. And I was there with my dad and we just like could enjoy it. We had to make conversation. I was in the line. I had to make conversation with the people. And there were just those gaps like in the moment where I could just kind of just chill. And I didn't have to look at my phone and no one else was looking at their phone. Everyone had their head up. And it was very refreshing. So I understand we can't go backwards in time. I understand we can't put the genie back in the bottle. But that's my digital minimalism journey. I think it's good to just be aware of it and be conscious of what's going in front of you, what's going in front of your eyes. And hopefully this video can help other people to be more conscious of it, guys, because it is important. Your mental health is important. What you put in front of you is important. And again, like the Bible says, the eye is the lamp of the body. I think it's something like that. So it's very important what you look at, what you consume, and just be careful of this, be mindful of it. And if anybody wants to share more of their digitalism journey, please feel free to do so in the comments. And just let me know what you guys think and what your experience has been so far. So if you made it this far in the video, thanks, appreciate it. Leave a like as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.